It's something you guys didn't expect, but you are now starting to see or will soon come to realize that whatever it is that was exposed, whatever it was that came out, whatever it is that you guys lost, whatever it is you were forced to leave behind was in your highest good. Because now, like, you guys literally flirted with the idea of a new life. But that's the only ingredient spirit needed to clear this out to get you guys to where you're going. Hello, Virgo. Welcome to your August 2019 reading. I am Princess India. If you're new, if you're family, welcome back, my friend. I'm sorry, Virgo. Things have been crazy. I've been trying to get my life back in order since my whole little surgery thing and all of that stuff. So, yes, the readings are like all over the place, but I apologize. I tried to go by views, but then I went by desperation, and then I started getting messages from y'all, so you guys got bumped up before Capricorn, you know? So anywho, we're going to jump right in. What I'm going to do, it's something I started with Sagittarius. I'm pulling a card from the Chakra Oracle deck, and then I'm pulling a card from the Romance Angels. I started that with Sag. It just worked, so we're going to go with it. So that's the energy between you and your person of interest, and then we're going to go into you guys' individual cards. So we're going to ask Spirit to give us clear, indirect guidance for Virgos, anything they need to know, anything of utmost importance. I ask that come to the forefront in this here reading, please, Spirit. And as always, I thank you in advance because I know you're good for it, Spirit. You know what I'm saying? What nights or whatever. So let's go ahead and jump right in. Energy between Virgo and their person of interest. Whoa, we got two cards here. We have passion and mysticism. So two things that are of utmost importance between you and your person of interest, and I feel the way that this starts to kind of make sense to me is a theme that's been happening since Sagittarius as well, is one, knowing that a lot of times in life we don't always know the outcome of things or what to expect in certain situations, and it's needing to become comfortable with not knowing. But in the midst of that, it's finding strength, peace, and navigation via our intuition, right? It's knowing that everything that comes onto your path is supposed to be there, and the purpose of it being there is for your highest good. So even in situations where things seem to be in opposition to you, or in situations where things don't seem to be going in your favor, it's trusting, knowing, and believing that no matter what, everything is always working out for your highest good, and letting that be the principle that guides your life, as well as influencing your decisions in different circumstances. The other thing that's important with the passion card is following your truth, right? So putting this within the context of a relationship, it's knowing that how things pan out, we don't always know how they're going to pan out, but trusting they're in our highest good, as well as being with who or how aligns with our highest truth. Now, to make that make a little bit more sense, I'll use an illustration. It's more or less that, I don't know, say that you're, I don't know, a doctor, hypothetically, right? And you fall in love with someone who is, I don't know, a garbage man, right? And people feel because you're a doctor that you should be with another doctor, right? But you love a person who just so happens to work for the city collecting trash, right? It's not allowing external opinions or external influences to tell you how things may pan out because of the differences between you two, but it's listening to your heart and your intuition and what feels right for you, right? Now let's get a card from the Romance Angels. That was a mouthful, right? Flirt. Extend your lighthearted energy to others. Interesting. So I feel this may be for single Virgos. It could also be for couple Virgos. But the key is not just flirting with people. I'm more or less taking that as flirting with life. It's more or less like you entertaining the things that align with your highest truth and not being so concerned with the outcome. You know what I mean? Like living in the moment. So whether you're coupled or not, right? It's with the person that you guys are seeing, the person you're interested in, or anyone that comes into you guys' life in the month of August. It's allowing yourself to approach things from less of a strategic, heavy kind of, I don't want to necessarily say low vibrational, but logistical perspective. It's more or less allowing yourself to be carried away by the whims of emotions within reason. You know what I mean? So let's go into your individual cards for my Virgos. I'm also feeling that you guys have a lot of good juju going on inside of you, a lot of good energy. And, that could be personality related, it could be talent related, but I'm feeling heavily that, I don't know, you guys may be coming out of a relationship where you weren't able to be your full self, or just been feeling bogged down by work. But I feel that it's really important to allow the fullness of who you are to take center stage this month. First card out, the Eight of Cups, walking away from things that no longer serve you, no matter how much you've invested into them. So those are kind of those things. Anything that stifles you, anything that's not feeding back into you is walking away from that. Ooh, and walking to Empress energy. That's what I'm talking about. It's more or less when you guys embrace yourself, it's like that's how the secret to getting to what it is you want. I don't know why my mouth is all jumbled up. But it's no longer settling for less, Virgo. So if this is like past tense, you guys settled in relationships or for things that really didn't reflect the truth of who you are, it's more or less I'm seeing Virgo coming into the realization of their inner Empress, right? And you guys walking away from anything that doesn't support that and going in the direction of things that are going to continue to feed into that. And then we have the Page of Pentacles out next. So I'm seeing this as a seed that you guys are planting. So this is pretty much you guys manifesting this. It's making a decision to sever ties with things that aren't serving your highest good, to no longer feed into things that aren't feeding into you. It's getting this concept and this idea of who and what you are, and now bringing this down into 3D via manifestation, which is the talk of the town right now. You know what I mean? So it's energetically, you guys are moving away from things that stagnate you. It's creating a concept of abundance in your mental space. And now it's manifesting this into 3D via your actions and behavior. So it's you guys doing physically what it is you've decided to do in theory, if that makes sense. This feels very much for single people. But I mean, if you're coupled, you could still do this with a person if you're, coupled. It's almost like I'm feeling flirt with the idea of your grandest vision of yourself in your life and know that it's possible if you believe that it's possible is the vibe that I'm getting. Whoa, what is this? We have the Seven of Swords in reverse. I always look at Seven of Swords in reverse as my self-deception card. So it's more or less like, I don't know, I feel like you guys have gotten out of something kind of funky. It's almost like a person who didn't want you guys to see the beauty of who you are. And then we have the Knight of Pentacles in reverse. So it's no longer investing in things that, like I said before, that aren't a reflection of your highest truth about yourself. Next out, we have the Seven of Cups. So what this does, I really feel like you guys are coming out of something. I feel like you guys were investing in something for a while that really wasn't reflective of who and what you are. But something has shifted where it's giving you the motivation. I think it's more or less because looking back at you guys' overall energy, it feels to me that either you guys believed what you wanted or desired wasn't possible, or it's just that you feared the unknown. It's like in order for you guys to get something that was more in alignment with your truth, it required a level of risk that I feel prior to now you guys weren't willing to take. Because it's like looking at the Eight of Cups, I'm seeing it as like sticking with the devil that you know. It's like I have these 8 cups. I've put energy and effort into these 8 cups. And even though I'm curious if, the 10 of Cups actually exists, I'm saying this proverbially speaking, even though I'm curious if the 10 of Cups exists out there somewhere, I really don't want to take the chance to find out because that means I'd have to sacrifice this 8. But I don't know what this breaking point was for you all, but it feels to me like there was an epic shift And it may very well be this Jupiter going direct, because if we were holding on to things that were no longer serving us, this is kind of one of those times where the universe kind of kicked us in the butt. So I feel whatever this was that ended, it's like this idea you guys had, or wow, thank you, Spirit, flirting with the idea. You guys flirting with the idea that the proverbial 10 of Cups or a proverbial Empress life existed was the only ingredient, the only seed that Spirit needed from you to flush the rest of this stuff out. So it's almost like if you guys never entertained this idea that something existed outside of what it is that you've experienced up to this point, this would not have manifested. So it feels to me almost like a tower situation almost. So it's something you guys didn't expect, but you are now starting to see, or will soon come to realize, that whatever it is that was exposed, whatever it was that came out, whatever it is that you guys lost, whatever it is you were forced to leave behind was in your highest good. Because now, like, you guys literally flirted with the idea of a new life. But that's the only ingredient Spirit needed to clear this out to get you guys to where you're going. So I feel what's coming to replace what you left behind is a myriad of different options. So with the 7 of Cups, I feel it's almost like emotional overwhelm, because it's almost seeing all of the opportunities that you maybe a few days, weeks, or months ago could have never fathomed even existed. So it's almost like emotional overwhelm. You know what I mean? If I were to reduce that down to something that's more situational, it would be like, I don't know, for 10 years being in a really crappy relationship, right? And putting all of your time, energy, and effort into that, right? And I don't know, your kid went off to college. You know what I'm saying? And when your kid goes off to college, you finally have the courage to leave behind this partner because y'all stayed together for the kids. I don't know, maybe you got cancer in your chart, you know? Y'all said, I did say 10 years for cancer. But maybe you guys stayed with this person for 10 years until your last kid graduated from high school. Now the youngest kid is going off to college, so you guys amicably divorce, you know, because it's just like, we were just staying together for the kids, so they go their way. You get back on the dating scene and tripped out about how much hot pieces of man meat that they have out here. It's like, they're making them like this now? I didn't know that this existed. This is interesting. I like this. You know what I mean? It's kind of an energy like that. So you guys have opportunities galore. But if there is anything, like say if you guys are kind of trying to decide between people, job, circumstances, this really feels like a solo reading for me, Virgo. It's so ironic. But whatever it is that you guys are trying to make a decision about and you're not really sure how to move forward, listen to your heart, right? Because I'm getting an energy as well, because of past experiences, a little bit of a fear of vulnerability, right? A little bit of a fear of vulnerability and having trouble trusting your heart and your judgment. You know what I mean? But follow your passions. Allow that to kind of be your light and the darkness, right? And it's another thing that Spirit is trying to coach you guys on, that I'm seeing now with the 7 of Cups, is embracing the unknown. I feel up to this point, you guys have more often than not taken calculated risks. You know what I mean? And I'm feeling this with anything, whether it's love, career, what have you. You guys have taken calculated risks up to this point. And what Spirit is really challenging you guys with is stepping outside of your comfort zone and leaning more towards things that aren't guaranteed. Well, not saying that it's not guaranteed, but where there's just a question mark. You know what I mean? You don't really know how it's going to pan out. But if you follow your passion, if you flirt with life, if you allow yourself to reawaken to the beauty of life and the spontaneity of life and the newness of people and experiences and things of the sort, it's almost like it feels like a rebirth to me. If you guys allow yourself to get reacquainted with those things and try things you've never tried before, go to restaurants you've never went to, visit a town you never went to. If you're a person who likes to plan vacations with an itinerary, it's like just take a spontaneous road trip. It's like if you guys start to do things like that, allowing your passion to be your guiding light, while you're trying these new experiences that are unfamiliar to you, that's going to get you to where it is that you ultimately want to be. So that's the pathway to you guys continuing to manifest this Empress energy in your daily life. I love how you guys' reading is going right now, by the way. So let's go ahead and move on to your person of interest. That's interesting. I like that, Virgo. This is a totally different energy than I have felt for everyone up to this point. Person of interest. We have the Hanged Man in the reverse. Could be an Aquarius person you guys are dealing with. And then with the Empress, we have Libra and Taurus as well. But with your person of interest, it's a good old epiphany energy, you know? Oop. Or being set free, I'm hearing too. Whoa. Then we have the Three of Wands. So making plans to move forward. So with your person of interest is becoming clear on how they want to move forward. Then we have the Emperor in the reverse. And we have the Ten of Wands. And with that, I hear losing control. That's interesting. Gaining clarity on moving forward, but losing control and releasing burdens. Losing control? And then we have the Nine of Wands. This is interesting. What are you telling me with this? Losing control. Oh, okay. Ace of Cups in reverse. I feel like this is you guys' past person that y'all are leaving behind. Okay, this makes sense. I can tell you, Virgo, the person that you guys were or are, I don't know. I mean, they're clearly still in your energy if they're on the table. But the person you guys were dealing with, I feel was very manipulative, domineering, and controlling. And it's almost as if, like, looking at this Eight of Cups for you guys is looking to me like you guys tired of this burden that this person bought you, because it's like an insecurity with them is what I'm feeling. So it's almost like this person tried to keep you stagnant. This person tried to keep you stuck. This person tried to keep you in the dark to prevent you from moving forward. But I feel like that has a lot to do with their own insecurity, because it's like with this person, if they're not in control, they feel out of control, which I mean would be the truth, is that internally they are out of control. Because the whole thing that's so interesting about humans is what we do externally with our lives, whether it's how we keep our house, our cars, whatever, how we treat other people, looking at it from a therapeutic mindset, you can tell a lot about a person's inner world by their outer world. So people who have an obsession with organization specifics, being in control, dominating, and always needing to be the go-to person, these are usually people who internally feel out of control of themselves. So they gain a false sense of control via controlling people or circumstances outside of themselves, right? It's a false sense of security. And I feel with my Virgos, I feel this is what this person was doing to you guys. It's almost like stifling you. So hypothetically, it would be if you were married to this person or in a relationship with this person and you wanted to go to college or something, right? Like you wanted to finish your degree, like say you never finished your bachelor's, and this person discouraged you from doing it or tried to sabotage you from, you know, going back to school. Or I'm even hearing family members like cutting you off from friends and family members, like causing drama between friends and family members to kind of isolate you. But it's almost like demeaning things that you liked or you desired to keep you in this controlled kind of setting. So it's almost like being with this person, you weren't really experiencing life. But I'm feeling it's more or less this person, their epiphany came in the fact that whatever it is that they were doing, they can't do anymore. Now, I don't want to get too specifically into that because I want to leave that kind of broad, because that could be anything. And I don't want to kind of deter anyone away from the message that's being given. But whatever the case may be, this person of interest kept Virgo almost like imprisoned. And I mean that figuratively. I mean, I don't think it's literal. I hope it's not literally. but it's more or less, I'm feeling it like in a mental sense. It's like a lot of manipulation and control that kept Virgo in a sense of oppression, where there were all of these opportunities available to Virgo, but it's almost like the way that this person orchestrated things or set things up, like the perimeter around Virgo, the way that they had things set up was preventing Virgo from seeing the options that they really had, or preventing Virgo from seeing themselves as the Empress, or making them doubt the fact that they could have their proverbial 10 of Cups, or that they could actually move forward or expand or what have you. It's like their goal, and this is very narcissistic, by the way, just throwing that out there, because the Emperor in reverse, that's my narky card. But I'm looking at the fact that with the Nine of Wands being in close proximity to the Emperor in reverse, like this is the mindset that a narc typically wants to create. Is just like you walking on eggshells, you being insecure about yourself, you being insecure about your ability to survive without this person, to be able to make it without them, whether that's, you know, financially, emotionally, what have you, right? And it's almost in the sense of like they are, what's the word I'm looking for? Ooh, I can't think of the word. It's not a, I don't know. It's almost like they're bought up as they bring you down, is what I'm seeing. It's like as long as they keep you downtrodden and not seeing your greatness, that elevates them somehow. And that's very narky, because what it ends up becoming, like in narcissistic relationships, it's like a transference of energy. So it's almost like they project their insecurity, their, you know, self-hatred and all of that onto the partner, and they kind of siphon your energy. So they live vicariously through you in a sense. And that's like the whole thing that I'm seeing. It's like from the moment that you guys started dating this person, it's like you guys, and I feel like I've said this to y'all before, months ago, but it's almost like the moment you started dating this person, you were here, right? And they may have been here. But it's like over the course of the relationship, it's almost like you changed places. You know what I mean? So it's almost like they needed to bring you down to bring themselves up. But the way that this relationship worked was them keeping you oppressed and keeping you down so that they felt good and felt in control. They limited your options for you to move forward. And it's more or less with the Ace of Cups in reverse. The thing that I'm seeing is it never really was a situation that was set up to end. And I'm sorry that I'm speaking tarot here, but this situation was never set up to end in the 10 of Cups, right? So I'm seeing your first card and their last card is telling me a very complete story, right? So remember I said in the beginning how Virgo was afraid to leave these 8 cups behind because it was the hope that maybe these 8 cups would turn into the 10 of Cups, which is like, you know, the best card. Well, not the best card in the tarot, but one of the best cards in the tarot, right? So it's the thought of, I don't want to take the chance and venture out on my own to get my own 10 of Cups, because that means I'm going to have to start from cup number 1 and get 9 more cups to get 10, right? So you stuck with these 8 of Cups, hoping that maybe the person that you guys were with would give you those last remaining cups to get to 10, right? But you guys make the decision to walk away from this. But the thing I'm seeing with your person's last card being the Ace of Cups in reverse, what I'm seeing with this is that this was never intended to ever be the 10 of Cups. It's like you would have consistently stayed at the 8. Like the 9th cup would have never come. The 10th cup would have never come. This is where you would have stayed. Or even more so, we could even say this is where you would have stayed, right? Like not seeing where this is going to go future tense and hoping and praying that this would happen. But it's almost like divine intervention came in, and now Spirit's bringing my attention to all of this yellow. It's like this is divine intervention that came in to get you out of this situation, because from the beginning, this was set up to fail. This was never set up to grow. It was never set up to be reciprocal. It's more or less this situation was set up to feed this person's own distorted kind of ego thing going on here. Getting out of that energy. I don't like that. That's not what's hot in the streets right now. but it was never set up to succeed. It's like this was almost like being a pawn in this person's own distorted psychology, if that makes sense, which is disgusting. In the extended, I really don't want to know anything else about this person. I will play these cards out just because, but I'm more concerned in playing this out for Virgo to give you guys more guidance going forward. I mean, I'm not really even so much concerned about pulling up another person, because I mean, if y'all are coming out of a situation with somebody who's narcissistic, no ma'am. No ma'am, Pam. The last thing, like I always say, leaving out of a relationship with a person who's narcissistic is like getting bit by a shark in the ocean and making it away from them. It's like you're bleeding and other sharks smell blood. So just coming out of a narcissistic relationship, you are 10 times out of 10 going to attract another narcissist until you get to your point of healing, right? Because what'll end up happening is you have someone who'll come in and they'll love bomb you, right? And while this person's love bombing you because you're healing, you don't think about it and you start talking about all of the stuff that this person did that you put up with. It's like, oh, you know, my ex was a narc and they did this and this and this. And now you're giving the new person a blueprint of how much it is that you put up with. And they're like, oh, well, they cheated 3 times and she put up with that. So I know I can do that. Oh, they did that. Well, I know I can get away with this. So you have to watch that. You know what I mean? The thing that's so tricky with people like this is that they'll sit and be so attentive and just collect an entire case file on you and then use it against you later on. So you have to be careful with that. But if you want to ask a yes or no question, go ahead and do that now. We have Cancer. Y'all really may be dealing with Cancer. We have Pisces. We have Friend. We have Yes. And we have Moon. So Cancer, Pisces, Friend, Moon, and Yes. And we're going to throw the dice that have no name. Yet. We're going to take care of that this month, dagnabbit, son of a gun. Y'all don't leave me alone until I do. We have Moon again. It's interesting. We have the number 1. Isn't there is, and what is this, Virgo? We have, dagnabbit. It's a full moon that's, YouTube's algorithm is built to keep you hooked. How ironic is that that was one of my news updates just now? Really? Interesting. No, I think we have a full moon that's coming up. I don't know why. I think, I'm not sure. But just the fact that moon came out twice, I feel like there's some significance to that. But anywho, so the number you guys have is 1, and it's beginnings. The first cause, strength, self-resilience, opening and awakening, the self, personal identity, individuality, and union/unity, 2 sides of one coin. Your arcana to meditate on is the Magician. And I feel like I should tell you, you can manifest any reality that you desire because you have that freaking power, Virgo. I'm just saying. Moving right along with the moon, we have Mother, feminine principle, law of polarity. How is your past being recreated in the present? How do you feel about yourself? How do you feel about your relationship? And I think that's something that's very important. If there's anything in your life right now that you don't like, that you want to shift and you want to change, you guys have the opportunity and the ability to do so. And the fact that Virgo is coming out in our dice that have no name, and this coming out with the Magician, right? And the fact that Moon came up twice, I don't usually interpret these for you guys because it's like kind of, you know, this is you guys' thing, right? But what I feel heavily that I need to say, and I need to look this up, but if there's a full moon that's coming, which I think it is, that's going to be really important to you guys because I feel the message that Spirit is telling you all is to understand how much power you guys possess over what you manifest from this moment forward. It's more or less the magic wand is in your hand. And if you trust yourself, you trust Spirit, you open your heart, you allow yourself to believe that you can have that which you desire, it can very well be yours. It's just the need of believing it. And if you guys are coming out of a relationship like we talked about here today, I think that's the most beautiful gift that you can give yourself. You know what I mean? To be able to manifest the life that this person never wanted you to know or didn't want you to remember that you could have. But that's been your reading, Virgo. I love your freaking face. If you want to meet me over there on Vimeo, the link is below. But if not, I still love your face.